Good morning, everyone. I want to thank you for coming today. My name is Michael Ryan. I am one of the many Americans who think this gun control bill that lost its life last week was a good thing. The Senate on Wednesday defeated a vital background check on the amendment seen as a linchpin to the Democratic gun control bill, dealing a major setback to President Obama, who lashed out at the opponents in unusually blunt terms during remarks from the Rose Garden at the White House. All in all, this was a pretty shameful day for Washington, Obama said, accusing the gun lobby of lying about a bill. The vote was 54-46, with supporters falling just 6 votes short of the required 60-vote threshold. The failure of the background check proposal, authorized by Senator Joe Manchin, Democrat from West Virginia, and Pat Toomey, which was Republican from Pennsylvania, now imperils the entire legislation. The proposal would have expanded background checks to gun shows and internet sales while exempting personal transactions. The amendment was aimed at winning over reluctant conservatives who were opposed to the more stringent background checks planned in the existing bill. It's unclear where the supporters will go from here, though. They could try to vote again or craft an alternative piece of legislation. Obama vowed to press on, saying the vote was just round one, while decrying those who claimed caved to the political pressure. The gun lobby and its allies willfully lied about the bill, Obama said. He said that the claims upset some gun owners who in turn intimidated senators. There was no coherent arguments as to why we couldn't do this. It came down to politics, he said. In a statement, Manchin said that while he is disappointed at today's outcome, this is not the end of the debate. Opponents, which included a few Democrats, voiced concern that the proposal would infringe on Second Amendment rights by imposing a burden on those buying and selling guns. They claimed the proposed system would not have prevented Newtown and would have not stopped criminals. Also voiced concern that the expanded system could lead to a gun registry, although that amendment language prohibits this. The NRA said in a statement that amendment would have criminalized certain private transfers of firearms between honest citizens, requiring lifelong friends, neighbors, and some family members to get in federal government permission to exercise a fundamental right or face prosecution. Senator Majority Leader Harry Reid and the other Democrats hammered Republicans for not voting in support and vowed to press forward. I want everyone to understand that this is just the beginning and not the end, said Reid. Today, the brand of the Republican Party has come out more out of step, more extreme, and that's saying something. 4 Republicans voted for the amendment, but 5 Democrats voted against it. One of those Democrats was Reid, who only switched his vote to oppose it, because doing so, Democrats to call up the measure again. The other Democrats who voted against the measure for non-procedural reasons were like Senator Mark Pryor of Arkansas, Senator Mark Belgic of Alaska, Heidi Heitkamp of North Dakota, and Senator Max Baucus of Montana. The Obama administration has made the package written in the wake of the Newtown school massacre shooting a top priority, along with its allies, to apply heavy pressure to wavering lawmakers. Vice President Biden presided over this vote on Wednesday. Lawmakers voted on a string of other amendments Wednesday, including a proposed ban on assault weapons and a ban on high-capacity magazines, which were defeated as well. In this run-up to Wednesday's vote, Democratic leaders gave up the ever-changing assessments of where support stood. Joe Biden said Tuesday that Democrats would get the 60 votes, but then said later in the day it came down to 1 or 2 senators. Manchin announced earlier Wednesday that the bill was having trouble, but then released a statement saying he remained optimistic and hopeful. Opponents just needed 41 of the 100 votes to derail the Manchin-Toomey background check plan. 31 senators voted last week to completely block debate on overall gun legislation. Since last week, enough lawmakers who voted to allow debate switched to oppose Manchin-Toomey, in turn defeating the amendment. I believe very strongly that our current background checks does need strengthening and improving, particularly in areas that could keep guns out of the hands of felons and the mentally ill. At the same time, I cannot support legislation that infringes upon the constitutional right to keep and bear arms. Senator Mike Lee, Republican of Utah, echoed a statement released in the following vote saying, "The following tragedy is Sandy Hook. We all wanted to find answers that would reduce crime and prevent the next senseless act of violence. Unfortunately, the Senate did not consider any proposals that would achieve these objectives. Lee also said and agreed with the president that the debate was not over, and hoped that they could discuss the problem that could lead to violent acts and work on solutions that actually address them. Only 4 Republican senators committed to voting for the amendment ahead of time. The last was John McCain, Republican from Arizona, who supported Wednesday afternoon. The other 3 were Tooney, and Mark Cook of Illinois. Senate gun bill would extend background checks to nearly all purchases, toughen penalties against illegal gun trafficking, and add small sums to school safety programs. Perhaps helping explain Democratic problems, an AP-GFK poll this month showed that 49% of Americans support a stricter gun law. That was down from 58% or so in January, a month after the December killings of 20 children and 6 aides in a Newtown, Connecticut elementary school. Family members of Newtown victims, they were tearing up after the vote. Also criticized the Senate for the amendment failure on Wednesday. The Senate held 8 other votes Wednesday besides the one on background checks. All of them amendments to broaden the gun control measure. They included Democratic proposals to ban assault weapons and high-capacity ammunition magazines, which were expected to lose. A Republican proposal requiring states to honor other states permitting allowing concealed weapons, which faces a close vote and a GOP substitute for the overall gun measure. The Concealed Weapons Amendment, seen by advocates protecting gun rights, was absolutely opposed by these control groups, who said it would allow more guns in the state with stricter firearm laws. The other amendments were defeated. The votes were coming a day after former Republican Gabrielle Giffords badly injured in a 2011 mass shooting in Tucson, Arizona, and her husband, Mark Kelly, tried gallivanting gun control by supporting visiting Capitol Hill and attending private lunches with Democrats. Senator Reid called the lunch. Senator said it could be emotional speeches from lawmakers, as moving as any as he has attended. It's not about the gun control issue. It's really not. It's about who has the guns. By having stricter laws prohibiting this from happening, it's just going to make it worse. Because the guy who's driving down the road with a shotgun in the back of his truck, who has a fundamental right of carrying that shotgun in his truck for hunting purposes, can't stop this guy from robbing somebody else because he doesn't want to follow the law. He's not permitted to have a weapon, but yet he does. Why? Because he is a criminal. Criminals will find a way to do whatever they can to get what they need to take away from you, regardless of what the laws say, which is the same thing I just said. They take away freedoms and liberties from you. Hope you guys enjoyed this speech. I'm going to fix this up a little bit. Y'all take care.